Hey guys, my name is Jennifer Alamon and I work for Service First Mortgage. I'm a loan officer here, and I wanted to share with you guys an issue that's come up with property taxes in Texas that I don't think that everybody's realizing just yet that it's happening. And it has to do with the fact that Texas has no limitation on how high of a percentage they can take our property taxes to take our value and what we pay taxes on. So I wanted to share with you guys the concern that I'm having because a lot of my customers are having a big issue. Who this is important to is it will be important to realtors, lenders, anyone in the real estate industry, honestly, and then also it'll be important to homeowners because this is going to affect homeowners and the property taxes that are out there. So like I said, there's no limit on how high our property taxes can be taken. And when you have a fixed rate mortgage, what everyone knows, homeowners know that your mortgage payment, the principal and interest will not change if it's a fixed rate. Your mortgage insurance will not change, but what can change based on inflation, based on things changing, are your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. So with property taxes, I 100% believe there should be a limitation in how high someone's property taxes can go each year so that it doesn't screw over our homeowners, for lack of a better word. So when it comes to property taxes, what a lot of people are hung up on is what the percentage is when they buy a house. They want to know which city or which county has a lower percentage rate. And to me, that part does not matter as much as how high someone's home values according to the central appraisal district, so according to the county. All of the taxes will range between 2.4% total up to 2.65% to 3%. They all stay within the same range. What is different is what the county thinks your house is worth, and that's where your taxes really change. And so based on what the county says it's worth, and they can change this each year, times that percentage rate, that's how much your property taxes are going to be. So you really have to watch what the county thinks your home is worth, okay? Now, what's happened, and this is what's happened to a lot of my clients, is that we've had a wonderful trend with our market. We're seeing all of our values go up, and it's been great, and people are selling their home for more. But those values are going up by 5%, maybe a little bit higher, but it's not going up to the level of what taxes are being taken. Now, the Central Appraisal District, the county, the way that they appraise the houses has always kind of been a joke in our industry because there's no reality to it. A lot of people think that that's what they can talk someone down on their house is what the house appraises for on the county records, and that's not true. We've all known that they do it pretty low. And which is awesome because people want to pay or should pay lower on their taxes and not higher. Now, what's happening is that the counties know that people are buying their houses for more. But over the last 10 years, 11 years, the value on those homes may have been really, really low. So I have an example. I have a customer right now that is a teacher who's on a fixed salary income, okay? And she has her house for the last 10 years. She just bought the house last year. The last 10 years, the county has appraised it between $88,000 to $91,000, and that's what the homeowner's been paying taxes on, right? Well, she buys it last year for $158,000, 75% higher than what the county says it was worth. Now, all of a sudden, the county increases her taxes to be off of a value of $158,000. So it increases her property taxes by 75%. So I actually printed out so that you can see where I've got here, the previous was at $91,410 on that value, and then all of a sudden this year it's changed to $158,000, okay, 75% difference. What it did to her payment is it's not only increasing it by those taxes, but now there's an escrow shortage. And so that's is increasing her payment. So her payment is increasing an overall of $267 a month just in taxes. She cannot afford for her payment to skyrocket to that amount. There's no gradual increase. Texas does not have to have a gradual increase. They just bam, hit you with the new taxes. Now, this is happening to a lot of clients. I'm actually refinancing someone right now to cure this problem where the taxes have skyrocketed and she has a huge escrow shortage, and so we're refinancing it. But I can't sit here and say that it's going to be the right answer to refinance everyone that this is happening to at least roll in the escrow shortage. It's not. When their interest rate is already really low, it's not necessarily the best solution for them to get that payment down. What needs to happen is that we need to have in our state a limitation on how high percentage-wise those taxes are allowed to go each year to have a gradual increase. All right, so in my opinion, what's happening could cause a lot of foreclosures, because the example that I gave you, my teacher can't afford to take her house payment up $267 a month. It'll back her up against a wall so far that she'll end up having to give up her house. How many more people could this be happening to cause another wave of foreclosures, which is the last thing that our state needs, especially when everything's going so awesome in Texas. I think it's a big issue that we're going to see more and more of, and I know other people in the industry are already getting these calls. So when I had a conversation with someone that is a part of the state legislature, and I asked, and this is a state to state issue, it's not a federal issue. So I asked, has this even been brought up? Has anybody brought this up? And his response to me is, actually, this was a bill that was formed because they were trying to pass for there to be a limit from year to year. They actually were proposing it to be 4 or 5% limitation on the percentage of how high a county or city can take the value of a property, so that the taxes, it's a gradual increase and not a huge increase, right? Well, this bill was killed in the legislature at the last session, which was early 2015. Now, in our industry, we should have seen that this was going to be coming up as an issue, but none of us knew that this bill was coming up. So there was no representation of the mortgage industry, the real estate industry. There was no representation at all, unfortunately. But who did know of this bill coming up was mayors. And apparently, according to my source, mayors came out in droves to ban this bill. And they told our representatives, if you pass this bill, we will not support you come primary time. And they really blocked this bill. Well, since they were the only voice that was happening at that time, they were the one that was heard. And so the bill was completely killed. So it just leaves the counties, it leaves the Central Appraisal District to be able to take that value up as high as they want when it's time. So unfortunately, the next time that this can come back up is in 2017, early 2017, and I think personally that that's too late. I think that leaves 10 months of these homeowners having their taxes very high, having their house payment very high. I believe that this needs to happen now. And he told me the only time that could actually happen is if there's an emergency session called, which is very rare, and maybe that will never happen, but that's what I would personally love to see happen. What the arguments are going to be when this is brought up is that, well, the homeowner, the value should have always been that way if that's what the house sold for. Yes, the value should have been that way, but what about the last 10 years when the county on this particular home left the house appraised between $88,000 to $91,000 to the max I saw was $101,000? Even though the house could have sold for a lot more, there was never any concern over the last 10 years to get this property value higher. And now all of a sudden there's a concern to get it up by, I believe it's $60,000, $70,000 in value, leaving this homeowner having to pay a ton in taxes and no option. They can dispute their taxes, but that takes time, and her mortgage payments due each month, and causing her to struggle, causing her to contemplate just letting it foreclose. And that's happening over and over and over. This is going to be the common trend of what's happening. So argument number one would be that they believe, well, the taxes should have already been at $158,000 if that's what the home was truly worth. And okay, it should be, but we have to give our customers time to be able to prepare for that. And so having that increase, sending it to the $158,000 needs to be little at a time, so that our customers, with their raises, with the way inflation's going, it can be a gradual increase as opposed to a bam, here's $300 extra a month in your payment that you're going to have to deal with. The second argument that we're going to get is that, well, we're lucky that these homeowners have had their taxes low for so long, but this has nothing to do with my current customer who just bought this house and all of a sudden her taxes are higher. A third argument that we're going to hear is that maybe the mortgage industry or the real estate industry should have prepared the customer better so that they could make that payment or be setting aside for that higher payment. But how do you prepare someone for something that has no control, that has no limitation? There's no limitation on what the percentage is that the taxes will go up in Texas. How do you prepare for that? I would have never guessed that my customer would have had to have dealt with her taxes being this much higher in her payment. And when we prepare people for their payment, we prepare it with where the taxes are now. And that's the payment that we're allowed to give them, and that's what they have it off of. So, and you know, in addition to that, even if we did prepare them, people don't always prepare for that rainy day, and it feels like the state's just, or the counties are just screwing the customer over to deal with something that they can't afford. So my thought is that these taxes, while the value should go up on the properties, the taxes should maybe go up 5% at a time. 5% at a time, not a huge increase when the county or the city hasn't even paid attention to the values over the last 10 years or so. I would say if you could share this video and get it out, get the message out, write letters to your state representative, to your mayor, make sure that these two people are the ones who are controlling this. And if they knew the message of that you don't support that, and that you won't support their reelection if they continue to support this type of thing, because this will affect every single homeowner when it comes to property taxes. I would love this video shared. The only person that has the authority to call an emergency session would be our governor. So if this message were to get out to our governor to know we're serious, all the homeowners are serious, we don't want our property taxes going up, it's going to screw over so many people and cause another wave of foreclosures, I'm hoping maybe somebody would hear. Maybe not, but it's worth a shot for sure. That's the number one thing that I want to see happen, is that they will take this back. They'll hear the cry of everyone, take it seriously, and not think that this is just something that, well, we just have to deal with it. It's not right. So I'm Jennifer Alleman. If you have any questions, I'm going to start working on my own letter to get to my representative, to my mayor. That way they know that it's a serious thing and what we're looking at. In the meantime, for everyone who has contacts with TAR, with NAR, with the different groups that have such a strong voice, and even I'll go into the mortgage groups, get the message out, because we have to fight for it. Otherwise, of course, the county and the cities want to see our taxes go up because it provides more money for those cities and those counties. And you know, while that's fine and dandy, we have to be able to do it a little bit at a time and not all at one time. Let me know if you have any questions. My email will be attached to this as well as my cell phone number. Thanks. Have a great day.